Hey guys, this is a pre-recorded match. We're just doing commentary over. I find myself playing a lot better when I play without commentating, and in general, my commentating. What tends to happen is my commentating stops, and I just keep playing, and kind of like a middle ground for the both of them, and it's kind of doesn't work out very good, I think. So we're gonna try doing just some games and recording after them. Takes more time, but I think the content or the quality of the content's a little better. So we're playing against Swiss. He's playing against Ottomans. He's a D player, a diamond player. We're playing on marshlands. So now we're gonna try our fast Keshik into eco, into trade. I'm not sure what to call this. It's not. It's kind of like you're getting early Keshik out, but you're also getting a lot of economy as well. I'm using my gur to pick up the sheep that my Khan doesn't. I find it better use of your gur time to do so. I don't always do it, but sometimes I find like it is better to do it with your gur when you can. Marshland is an interesting map because you can't really aggro. Right now I have got safe resources because I'm Mongol, but even my opponent, you see this wood line will start off relatively safe. This wood line is definitely safe, at least for the beginning part. His stone collection was pretty safe, and his gold collection is pretty safe. So I can't raid any of his economy buildings without taking TC fire, and that's a big thing with any aggression that you want to do on marshlands. Just know that you pretty much can't do anything unless it's a tower rush, really. So there's something food for thought. Any diving you do, it will delay, but you're also going to be losing quite a bit of units under this TC5. Meanwhile, we are going for a fast 9-2, and we should be able to get a really good timing. I've been pretty consistently now been improving my Keshik production time. Sometimes I've been getting 415, 418, getting under the 420 mark, so that's been kind of nice. And a little bit of extra timing never hurt. A little bit of extra time never hurts, especially early on. The earlier you hit, the better. But on this map, it doesn't particularly matter because you can't really raid on marshlands. So we're just looking around the map right now. You see our vision. We've scouted over there, the whole north. Now we're coming around the east here. We're not super pressed to check out our opponent's base. He's Ottoman. Pretty much 9 out of 10 Ottomans are going for Dark Age Spear in military school, and that's what he's done. And he's going to rotate into H2 from there. Excuse me. A little bit tired. Yeah, and so from here we're just doing our normal build, 9-2, 3 under wood. And we'll start sending more villagers onto food. And now we spot his military school. We see the twin minaret. Drop by our scout. The scouting falcon is such a nice addition to the Mongol civ. I really have enjoyed it. I see that his stone is here. He's only collected 50 stone, and that he's on wood. So I'm not expecting any shenanigans here. One thing I would like to say about this build against Ottomans, this is the second game actually now in a row I think that we've seen against Ottomans where I almost die in feudal, and I probably could have. In the last game, I probably could have survived the feudal push. In this game, I probably could have died if he had pushed my trade line instead of me. For whatever reason, he doesn't notice I have trade, even though he does send his Sipahi and spot it out. So again, this is kind of one of those builds where I think it's pretty good. But when it's against a super all-in feudal civ, kind of like the Ottomans, it's excuse me, it's pretty risky. It's quite risky. If you can get away with it, it's good, but if you can't, you may die. So we start off immediately with our wheelbarrow. We don't go for lancers because we know that our opponent has Dark Age Spears. We've spotted the spears. We're not going to get much raiding in. He's got front gold. The spearmen are there. Stones in the back. You know, maybe we get to harass it, but I felt like overall it's going to be better just to focus on our eco. Even though we're getting up a lot of villagers onto food here, we're still maintaining our build order, and we're building a Keshik now, so we're gonna still produce it, but we wanted to focus primarily on our eco upgrades this time around. And that's pretty much it. We're just moving up from here. A little bit late on the market drop, but it's up. He's got 3 spears. He's dropping his second military school. So maybe if we had Keshiks here already, we would have had the timing for sure to have Keshiks here. Maybe we deny the military school drop or the blacksmith drop a little bit. Like, we could delay it, but even if we delayed it, we wouldn't be able to stay and like fight it out because he's got 4 spearmen here. So that's kind of the thing against Ottomans. Sometimes I like, we went for the stable just because, like, fuck it, we'll just make them anyways. But really, what I usually do against Ottomans is like we did the last game, is just skip the stable, go for the age up, go for an archery range, and then Mangadai, because it's hard to fight the Ottoman mass, and he's just massing up units right now. He's got his barracks up, he's got an archery range, and he's got 2 military schools cranking out units. So he's going to have a really good army here shortly. And he spent his first vizier point on the meta with movement speed. So really good. A really good move on his part. We make 1 trader. Our trader's going to drop off 26 gold. But for the return trip back, he's going to be dropping 70 gold, which is nice. Looks like we're going to have a little bit of idle time on our TC here. A little bit unfortunate. Hopefully we get back on the ball here with that. There we go, finally. And here's our Keshik raid. We catch his 1 villager out, building some walls here. We notice he's going really turtly, and we see all the production, so we know he's just going to make a big death ball and push. So he just basically shored up his flanks, so he can't get hit by behind, and then he's just going to push us. We see his troops flanking here. We're going to try to take out this villager. And with 2 villager kills, if we lose these guys, it might be worth. We get the 2 villager kills, and it looks like we're gonna be able to sneak out, so it's definitely worth here. We got a little bit lucky that he doesn't commit this villager to the Wallen a little bit earlier. Behind this, we're trading. There's our trader bringing in 70 gold. We are bringing over a villager to drop another market in position. Again, this is another time where it wouldn't have been a bad idea to drop a market at the other corner. And we're bringing some Mangadai forward to kind of harass this front here. We knew he had a bunch of spearmen, so we're just trying to pick off some damage on the gold units and hope his army stayed in the back here. And a little bit of, not a little bit, but really bad micro here. We ran into here without paying attention, losing all of our troops, doing things in the back, dropping a tower on our line over here, collecting a little bit far distance here on the wood, and a lot of villagers onto food now. We also have 11 on the wood, so we're going to be cranking out a ton of infrastructure with this, hopefully. As you can see, we've got our blacksmith out. We want to start getting upgrades. And one big thing that we mess up here is you can see the ball that he has, the mass that he has, very quickly. We are dropping a tower now. But he has no idea we're trading. He's seen the deer stones, so he's not thinking about trade. Okay, we're trying to get some raids in from around the back here. And we're just, we see this big mass here. It's like, it looks like 7-8 spears, but I guess it's only 6. Okay, I guess 7 spears, 9 archers, Sapaki drummer, meter, and a scout. So, at this point, we don't have really an army to deal with this. if we had been building archers, we'd have probably around 14 archers or so. We'd have almost about the same amount of archers here instead of Mangadai. So that's another thing too with this build order. It's very weak early on if they start going archers. If you don't get good picks, especially against Ottomans, if you're not going aggressive early and taking really good fights to fight his spearman mass, because right now he's got 7 spearmen. Yeah, 7 spearmen. But really, if we had gone Mangadai early and early pressure with Mangadai, we probably would have been able to deny that second military school and kill those spearmen a little bit. We got a lot of villagers idle here on food. Unfortunately, our deer is really forward and exposed. We didn't want to go for this food pack over here. That's one thing about marshlands. All the food is really just clumped in the middle. We've got a ton of like straggler berries over here, but it's not like super worth to go for. We're just trying to deal with that. We do get a low rate over here, but we're not able to get any kills. And his spearmen show up, don't do anything. He does take out our scout. And again, he's just massing this big this mass, and he hasn't noticed that we're trading yet behind this. We are up to 7 traders, so we're actually quite a bit behind on our normal build. By 10 minutes, we should have had 7 traders. Maybe in part is because we have gone to markets that we're a little bit behind. Either way, we are definitely way behind. One thing that I really did make sure to pay a lot of attention on this game was using my extra gold to trade out resources. But yeah, it's definitely a little bit of a mistake that we're not sitting at as many traders as I would like. But we're starting to equalize that with more constant production here, and we're getting up to 9 traders now. I'm trying to raid a little bit here on the sides, and you can see my vision is not the best in the world. We got a trade line going, and this tower gives us a little bit of vision. Yeah, not the best. We are trying to get some upgrades. We have gotten survival techniques and a wood chopping upgrade. We did get forestry night, which is going to be nice now. But you can see he's got a really big mass to push. He's got 42. He's got 30 on wood basically. So this is 100% a ram push coming in. Again, this is something like I knew it was kind of coming, and it's a little bit unfortunate that I didn't drop more infrastructure. So I was so focused on getting my trade booming. I didn't drop enough infrastructure. It's kind of a key thing against Ottomans, is to always drop at least like 4 infrastructure buildings. Like you always need, like for each infrastructure you need a couple. So he's got 2, 4, and 3 military schools. So yeah, we're way behind. We should have at least I would say like 6 military production buildings to really be competitive against this build. If this army had just pushed over here and shut down our trade, that probably would have done a lot of work. We could have sent our traders across the field over here. So that's another big mistake. Something we should have done. Just precautionary is to drop another market on the other side of the map and start trade from over there. He sees our villagers on deer, so he's gonna push us off a deer. We did still have like 3 deer packs left, so we just have to fall back from there. And he fortunately hasn't seen like the rest of our trade going on in the back. We do have a really nice trade line back here. It's really tucked away. And we're trying to get some damage in on this ram, but again, can't take it out in time. Just do a little bit of damage. The spearmen are able to screen, and yeah, we're just trying to mass up a little bit of an army here to be able to deal with him. You can see in terms of army value, we're pretty close here. So if he did push our trade line, there was actually a really, like, there's a possibility we can like fight and perhaps win. But it would have been really hard. Like the reason he's pushing us in is because we don't have enough forces to truly deal with this archer threat and these spearmen at the same time. So we're doing what we can here, and we do lose our 1 archery range, kind of sacrificial, because we're trying to like, I wanted him to take his time with his ram still. I didn't want to pick up and move my range yet. I guess in the long scheme of things, losing the range is never, I guess, worth it, but you just kind of have to deal with it sometimes. And we're trying to reset up our eco here, and what we are doing is floating a ton of gold now. You can see that we're floating a ton of gold, and I'm trying to see what I can do here. And we'll start trading resources shortly. And start paying attention to the fact that I am on 16 traders now. So gold is the last of our the least of our worries right now, and military production buildings are. So again, we're only on 3 military production buildings, trying to hold back double the amount of military income. The plus side is he saw like blood in the water and here on our main TC, and he didn't go for a trade line. And he didn't even scout it. He just wanted to go for a straight head-on push because he sees deer stones. So he's pushing us back here, but he's taking a lot of damage here. Like, it's not like a little bit of damage. He's taking a lot of damage from these Mangudais on these spearmen. I wish Mangudai had bonus damage against spears. It really is pretty ridiculous. We are able to snipe the meta, which is really big in terms of just in general debuffing his army. He only gets one of those speed or metas in like the game. And we're able to push back this first initial push. You can see we've lost almost 3,000 resources worth, and he's lost a pretty good amount as well. That being said, yeah, we just started trading here. You can see we just started trading. We saw a bunch of resources go down, and we stack up on food. And we're going to tap up with the curl type. We did pull a bunch of villagers. These are the villagers that were on deer. Either the villagers are on deer or some villagers that I had over here. I can't remember. We looped them around the map over to these couple of berry bushes and this deer patch. And we're going to drop a curl tie and a tower for defense here. When we see more aggression coming in, he misclicks and sends this ram in. So we're able to snipe this with this Keshik, which is actually a pretty big deal. One less ram is actually really good. They do a lot of damage. And he uses a visor point. He's able to spawn Janissaries, because he's H2, and I'm assuming that's the only way you spawn Janissaries is with the visor point. For each military school, I believe, right? 1, 2, 3, and 2 more. So I don't know how I got 4 Janissaries, but he's got 4 Janissaries, or 8 Janissaries. I thought it was 2 per military school. So, and we're really low on our army here. And you can see now he's tripled the amount. And this at this stage in the game, we'll just pause it here. 100% if he hits a trade line, we're 100% dead. There's no coming back from this. And this is kind of one thing that I noticed about this build. If you are going against the Ottoman, you have to go Mangudai early. You have to take early numbers, and you can't let him really snowball at all. You really have to take early map control with the Mangudai and really push him into his base as much as you can. Because if he gets this 15-minute, 17-minute timing push on you without taking hardly any losses, and you're the only one taking big losses, it's going to be really, really hard to hold. But we are able to kind of hold it here. We have aged up. We are getting our upgrades through. So we're going to get veteran Keshiks here shortly, which is going to help a bunch in terms of damage and how well they're going to hold. And we are bringing our curl tie over. And we're just tanking as much damage as we can with this TC. And bring our curl tie over, and we start repairing the TC as much as we can. We do have a bunch of wood, so we're just going to start cranking up the repair here. And Keshiks are coming out. Still more Keshiks in production here, and now his army is basically just archers. We've got some Janissaries coming up, which are going to shred us. But basically at this point, he has no steam left behind his push. We do have to pack up the town center. It's taking too much damage, and we have to pull back. Our eco is in disarray in terms of villagers, but in terms of traders, we're up to 24, which is a really, really strong amount. Really good numbers here. Yeah, if we look at our gold income per minute, our gold income per minute is basically his entire eco in just that. So it's a really big goal that we got going. We're losing a ton of villagers here. Surprisingly, we've only lost 7 villagers throughout this. So, not entirely sure how, but yeah, we surprisingly managed to only lose 7 villagers. This forward curl tie is helping to kind of buff. We're going to sacrifice the geostone here, no sense pulling it out. It is going to distract him a little bit, his aggro, and we're okay with that. We did start producing infrastructure here, and that's another thing. We needed to start cranking out more infrastructure here as soon as possible. We saw that he was getting big masses of archers, He just ran pushing us and trying to end us this way. We knew that his eco, after that big fight, that his army was going to be really stagnated here. And this was kind of our opportunity to flip the script. So we are building Siege Workshop ASAP, and we're collecting a ton of wood here. And these villagers are finished all of this deer. I think we sent them onto berries, and then they're going to shift click onto these this tree line here. But yeah, they're still idle right now. Rams are coming in, but we have an okay force here. I mean, not a great force. The thing is, he doesn't really have an army here. All he has is archers. So that's why we're able to kind of not be too worried. Yeah, they're going on to food, and then they're going to go onto the wood. And you know, he's pushing us here, but again, we're just going to garrison. We're just going to deal with these Sapaki, no problem. And then this army is going to have to stay out of TC range. Otherwise, he's going to lose all of these guys. And yeah, he just has to fall back here. He doesn't have an army that can really sit under TC and push us. All he's got is archers. And in some sense, if he had left his archers to try to protect these rams, you know, it might have been a really good move. Like, it would have forced our hand. But either way, we're just racking up this this gold, and we're trading it in, and we're producing units. Also, our first mangonel is on the way, and with this mangonels and the siege workshop, we're gonna be able to really flip the script on these battles 100%. We do finally get our veteran mangonite upgrade really late. I would have liked to have gotten this much earlier. Again, part of the issue was we're sitting on one archery range, so again, this is where you see I'm dropping another archery range because my macro is way off. Yeah, you can see our gold and food rate is pretty bad because we're trading a lot of resources. 92 gold for food and 72 gold for wood. So yeah, we've been trading a lot of resources to get stuff, and you know, every time we get these big pockets of gold, we're trading them up in the market, and then switching it out. So you can see 198 gold for 100 food, 200 gold, 200 gold almost, and 138 gold for 100 wood. So again, we did a lot more trading, used up all that extra floating gold, and we're up to 34 traders. So again, we could probably still be cranking out traders here at this point. But our economy is super strong. He does bring Sapai over, and he's realized that we are trading now at this point at the 20-minute mark, which is again super lucky on our part that he's realized this late. It just basically, I think at that point he realized how badly he did. But the big thing is and at this point, this is why we kind of bring our army a little bit forward, because we know that we kind of have to look into pushing forward. He starts tapping up the Mechmed Imperial with only 3 villagers. Interesting. I would figure he's gonna pull some more villagers and start tapping up with more, because 3 is a little bit too slow to be going for your castle. Really, it's just too much resources to be spending for that. We did end up dropping 3 towers here to go on this wood line with these villagers. And with these extra villagers on wood, it's going to really help us to drop infrastructure. And this is, again, something that should have been done a lot earlier. We have 5 stables, 3 ranges, and all of this is, yeah, it's going to help us stabilize. But if we had done this earlier when he was first pushing us, we would be in a lot better spot. So I'm not sure if it's the build order that's not apt against the Ottomans, or maybe it was just my just how I played it. You know, a little bit over focused on, you know, on certain things, and not cranking out enough military infrastructure, because we were definitely way behind on military infrastructure. Okay, so he did pull some more villas. He ended up pulling like 10 villages to build his castle upgrade. He's dropping immediate blacksmiths, his workshop, so he's mobilizing his army again. You can see his army's back up, and once again it's bigger than ours. So you can see in army value, we're actually a better, technically a more expensive army at this point. Behind the scenes, we've got a nice little raiding force to Keshik. We try to run around. He's walled off here, so we kind of knew that this would kind of happen eventually in the transcourse of the game. And we have a small little army here, and we have a nice force here as well. And the big thing was we got a bunch of mangonels, and we're just cranking out mangonels at this point. We got to make sure that we're producing mangonels, because we can make like 3 mangonels, and the time he gets 1 free mangonel. So it's pretty. It's not the best exchange rate, but we can get numbers with that. Over here, we're trying to burn down 1 military school. Burning 1 military school down, it's an expensive investment for him, and it's also it's gonna slow down his death ball timing. So we do get this down. We're fighting the Sipahi, which is an easy fight, but the rest of his army shows up and we just fall back. You can see the Janissaries just absolutely shred, and we're gonna fall back over here. Our army's over here. He does start moving out on pocket resources. I probably could have started raiding more extensively here, but we are starting to produce more infrastructure, and we're going into additional siege workshops now, as well as pocket food. Because basically we've been just living off trading resources right now. You can see we're up to 230 and 130. So again, we've been trading gold for wood and gold for food pretty heavily. Because we were at 200 and we're at 30, so that means we did it 3 times. 30 times since, like, I don't know, 10 minutes, 5 minutes ago. So 30 times that's about 3,000 resources worth we trade. So yeah, that's it's quite a lot. And that's kind of keeping our eco floating right now. It's just the amount of traders that we have. We're up to almost 40 traders at this point. We do drop a prayer tent up here to grab this relic. He starts rotating onto that gold over here. And we figured we weren't really sure where he was in terms of strength right now. You can see army value wise we're a lot more expensive, but army is split into wings right now. So we have to be careful, and that's why we're not kind of engaging up the middle with too much, because we have a lot of investment right here on these mangonels, 7 of them. We still have 2 ranges. We are dropping, or 2 siege workshops. We have 5 ranges, and we're bringing the prayer tent over right now, as well as the monk is heading over to go pick up this relic near our base. We do raid around this western side. We're able to pick up a couple of villagers here. We have equalized the village kills here, and it's actually surpassed what we had. He pulls a bunch of villagers here. While we're hitting this here, we start raiding on the south, building making a hole in the wall. We didn't know that he had walled this up here, but we do find out when we try clicking, and our guys don't want to head up there, because I didn't want to pull him to these guys. I wanted to keep these armies separate. I wanted his army to chase these up north and send these guys behind the back to raid, but it didn't work out exactly like that. So we knew that he had a wall over here at that point. And while his army is mostly just chasing us, and we could tell that most of his army was chasing us, we decided to move up, take a little bit more forward ground. We should move these armies up. We do have springolds in our army as well. And yeah, we've officially stabilized. We've officially stabilized. We have a stronger army right now. We are taking this fight here just to trade out units, because I believe we were at 200 pop. We were pretty close to 200 pop. So we just wanted to trade out a little bit there. And we had such a strong eco going. I felt that I was in a stronger place in terms of eco than him after seeing his, like, this guy's on just here and getting a couple of villager kills. I felt like we were within a little bit ahead, and we definitely were. So he does get quite a bit of eco from these military schools. He hasn't replaced that 1 military school. I don't know if this is his replacement or not. But he's forming a nice army, but we have a really strong army here. 6 mangonels can do a lot of work. And we're producing more units. We're bringing springolds into the mix, which is going to be really key. The 2 archery range, or 2 siege workshops is good. I almost wonder if we should have got a little bit more. So yeah, trade rates 234, 130. So we've traded to buy more food still. So we are still trading and trying to keep things going in that way. And we are producing villagers still on our main TC. Our total eco count's at 103 right now. So and most of it's, almost half of that is traders. 46, yeah, it's almost half of that is traders. So this woodline over here is almost cleaned up. We do have 2 really nice safe woodlines over here, I would say. They're definitely safer than his woodline, I would say. Here we do see he's dropping a castle. Again, we're not overly worried about this. We're going to try to engage this fight as far forward as we can to get the first shots of the mangoes out. You can see the Mongols do a lot of damage here. And then we're able to nuke the metas. And then yeah, that these shots, I guess there's still one meta left giving one damage here. But you can see that the Mangonels did a lot of work here. And we did a lot of cav. We are trying to pick up this this relic under duress. Unfortunately, the castle does snipe it out. And we have to fall back here. Springles do a lot of work there. We're able to snipe now. He does have Mangonels, so he had a couple of Mangonels doing some work there, but we just have way superior firepower. We've got 8 Mangonels here. And that's kind of where that death fall kind of you can do with Mangandai is that. Let's just switch our vision real quick so you can see our vision. At this point, we're building a ton of Keshiks up. We're building forward infrastructure because we don't have a ton of infrastructure. We have an okay amount, but we definitely want more. We have the eco now to support a little bit more faster production. And we're bringing Trebs up to start dealing with this keep. It just becomes kind of a little bit slower siege because we're coming up with 3 Trebs. That's going to help us push into his base with minimal damage. Once we have Mangonels, you don't necessarily really want to push too far, too fast. And we're going to make him push out to us. Kind of the plan. He is on this gold, but we can't tell yet. Yeah, the number's going down, and this is where one little villager shows up, and I do notice this little villager. Eventually, it does take a minute for me to realize, but I do realize that there's a villager there. It's really hard to tell. I think further on, they start wrapping around the side there, and that's where I noticed them. I'm able to pick up the relic, and I'm going to be able to bring it back home. We're going to be up to 3 relics with that. We do have a small army here on the flank, so we're going to push with these guys again. Kind of a distraction. And we are dropping more siege workshops. So now we have 4 siege workshops. It's going to be really important to be able to maintain military production with siege. You can see the population difference now is really big at this point. We're at 200, and he's at 140. And his keep is down now. Basically down, yeah. There we go. Well, we push it forward. We do move these guys forward to double check to see if the wall has been busted through or not. He's still mining out this gold. His villagers have like repositioned, so we don't see him very well. But okay, see now he's pulling more villas. Look at this, 47 villagers. That's crazy. I'm shocked how many villages he's pulling close. This is a really big throw on his part. I would say is throwing 52 villagers. Yeah, 47 villagers, sending basically your entire eco. Yeah, no, half your eco. Half your eco into dealing with this. Here we see Springholds coming up, and we're just going to charge this with Knights. We have Springholds. If we lose a manga now, it's not the end of the world. We have the resources to lose a couple of units here and there. What I really want is to trade out his units, make him bite into us. We have noticed this, and we are bringing Mangandai over to deal with this. Meanwhile, we're also burning behind, and we're going to try to find villagers behind the scenes. We're trying to chase into this. This is a really bad move on my part. I should have just fallen back. This is could have been really bad situation for me. Over here, we do find all of these guys. We're going to kill all of these villagers, which at which point is going to basically just end the game in some sense, but we are streaming a ton of troops over right now, so if he had pushed a little bit earlier here, we would have suffered a lot more, but we do end up killing all of these vills. And we did have to split that Mangandai army. We saw that we were in a really weak spot here. We did fall back our Mangonel, and we have to sacrifice a little bit of Mangonels just to get some shots up on the Janissaries and crossbows. And he's going to dive on our siege, but we have Springhold Tower in support. We have a lot of infrastructure up front now, so we can produce a ton of units here, and his eco just got halved, basically. We have these armies that was behind the scenes doing damage. We have to bring them up and around to help us deal with the siege. And we're going to get a full envelopment here of his army, and now his army is going to be pretty much wiped here. His Janissaries are doing work against us because Janissaries are basically the bane of our comp. That's kind of why we go so Mangonel heavy. We always want to be able to one-shot and deal with the Janissary ball. Basically, these 8 Janissaries, you can see how they're just murking our units here. They're basically solo winning this fight as a Janissary. But he has no income yet left. And I think he just realizes that his eco has disappeared. And he gives up because he knows at this point, yeah, what was he gonna do? We were basically just like, we are gonna have endless streams of troops coming in. We had reestablished, and we would just take a step forward. We'd push forward, take out this forward infrastructure, and we'd basically park right up front of here, and it'd just be GG from there. Losing half his eco like that, sending half of your vills onto gold like that is like it's possible. You can do it. Like he did it, but it's definitely a super risky play. So what was it? Was this one? Yeah. So in terms of villagers, you can see that my villager count suffered a little bit and climbed, but we're pretty steady kind of in terms of our growth here. I did before Castle. I kind of struggled because he was pushing us. Um, I stopped making villagers, and then over here, this is where he loses 47 villagers. He loses half of his vills there. We may have a little bit overcommitted in terms of our Mangadai there. We may have only needed to pull like half of them initially and not all of them. So that was kind of a bad move on our part. Luckily, he didn't capitalize on it as much as he could have. It would have just prolonged the inevitable of the loss. If he had won that first battle a little bit more decisively. But either way, um, pretty over. Military count, you can see he spikes up really hard, and this is when he pushes us and almost kills us. Um, and here at the end, we're able to really dominate the last of it. But this is where the real difference in eco was here. We weren't, even though it said our villages were the same and actually less. Actually, with our traders, we were able to keep the game really far ahead. Um, it might have been worth it, that with our one villager running around building towers, maybe dedicating one more ville to drop another market and just get to this spike a little bit earlier. Getting this amount of traders another 10 minutes earlier would definitely help significantly. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's see, military. You can see that we killed 300 and we lost 200, so we had a pretty good kill to death there. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you on the next one.